remember when we met. He had jet black hair and dark eyes, dreamy eyes, the kind you could get lost in. He had a short, athletic build. He was shy, like super shy, but I figured we can get past that. His name was Rico, and we were at Petco, and he was a 5-pound Chihuahua. It was a rescue event. For me, it was love at first sight. For him, it was fright at first sight. He was terrified of me. He was terrified of everyone. He was terrified of everything. There was so much fear in this little animal. It was sad. The rescue had pulled him from a kill shelter in rural Kansas, and the best guess was that he was a surrendered breeder dog, because he was a little apple head, perfect little looking guy. But he was surrendered. He had really bad patellar luxation, so he had really bad knees, so he could not be bred. So I held him, and he was so stiff and so scared, looking around, and just nobody home. So his foster mom was in shock when I told her, I want to give him a forever home. I want to be his mom. His foster mom, Carol, was like, okay, at my house, I have to catch him with a laundry basket. He's not potty trained, and he's so skittish. Like, are you sure you want to do this, right? None of that fazed me. He did not bite, and damn, he was cute. So I said, we're gonna go for it. I got him to our house, and he met my old blind dog, Diego. And they just hit it off perfectly. They just hit it off immediately. Rico was always such a gentleman. And Diego started showing him how to go potty outside. And Rico just loved this. Like, he loved to go outside. He loved the sun. He loved to lay in the sun. He loved to roll in the sun. He'd go roll on earthworms, bird poop. He just loved to be out there in the sun. And he'd also go run in just tiny little circles, even with his goofy knees. He'd just run in little circles far away from me, super far away from me, but he could be by Diego or on his own, just so happy to be out free. In the house, I kept a harness on him and a leash. That way, just in case I had to get him, I could, but for the most part, I left him alone. I let him do his own thing, and he'd wander around and check it out and do whatever and hang out with Diego. But I figured we'd let this relationship grow on his terms. And I was patient, and I was ready to do that. And for the first few months, I'd pick him up, stiff, vacant, kept getting that. So we called that out of body. That was out of body. So lots of out of body going on. Pick him up, out of body. But then over time, he let me pick him up, and he wasn't thrilled with it, but it wasn't out of body. He'd loosen up. And then out of body was reserved for vet techs and veterinarians, and that was his forever. That's a forever thing. So we had an ever-evolving system. He trained me, don't get behind him, and that if I must pick him up, that he wanted to be cornered. So cornering was this thing we invented. We choreographed it together, and I would just aim my arms at any corner in the room, and there he would kind of hobble on over there and let me pick him up in the corners. And then when he growled, that meant I'm hungry. And when he growled with a bark, that meant I want to go outside. And I got a lot of growls and barks because he always wanted to be outside. About a year into all this, he started pawing me. Just at my leg, or if I'm sitting down on my arm, and he started pawing me. And I realized, first of all, he pawed me, my heart would skip a beat. This was all him. And it meant pick me up, hold me, put me in your lap, carry me. Like, I was so thrilled. Like, I earned his trust. was so proud of us. In 2010, we adopted Rico a girlfriend. Petite, blue-eyed Shawini, very sassy, named Penny Lane. And Rico was always such a ladies' man. They called themselves the Cuddle Crew. Wherever there were patches of sun, like in a room, and of course those patches move with the sun, but that's where they'd be. They'd be in the patches of sun on a couch or on the floor or wherever those would be. Or if it wasn't sunny and it was the heater was on, the heater season or whatever, they'd be in front of a vent spooning, and he'd be like just adoringly licking her neck. He loved Penny, and Penny let him. She was way too cool to reciprocate, but I know she loves him too, definitely. So Rico and Penny were inseparable. The benefit of Chihuahuas, like totally, they would huddle up in a carry-on bag I would open it up, and they'd hustle on there in there together, and they'd go for car rides and even plane rides. And we also fostered a lot of dogs, finding forever homes. So we've had over 100 dogs come through the house. And they were the gracious hosts. They were the gracious hosts, teaching them about going outside, heater vent etiquette, patches of sun, how that all works, and that plain Cheerios, no sugar added, are a super awesome treat. So this February, I noticed a large growth in Rico's mouth, and my heart sank. We had it removed and biopsied, and it was a malignant tumor, a very aggressive kind that grows quickly. We really had no options. They gave us a semi-option, and that was basically to have his lower jaw removed, and that was a long shot. So we just thought that's just too much to go through, and we didn't do that. And they also said that the tumor would grow back, and in about 2 months they're very difficult for him to chew and swallow and to breathe, and that all along the cancer would be spreading. So we went hospice, and we determined to make the next 2 months totally kick ass. Totally kick ass. We're not gonna be sad. We're gonna make this good. We're gonna accept this and make it awesome. So we got whipped cream, Frosty Paws dog ice cream in the freezer section at your grocery store. Lettuce, yes, lettuce. Rico and Penny and all the other dogs, don't ask me, they love lettuce, so yes, lettuce. And for all of his meals, we ditched kibble, forget that, and we cooked fresh chicken and vegetables that we knew were safe for animals, and rice, and we blended it all up, and he just gobbled it down, and he was so happy and so sweet. And Penny loved it because she got to eat what Rico ate. We went on walks. We put them in their stroller, and we went on walks, and we hung out in the sun. He rolled around, walked around, and we would hang out in the gazebo, and we'd do little naps in the hammock. We'd swing and listen to the birds sing. We'd do doggy photo shoots, like selfies, and doggy massages. And we put together a playlist for his special day with lots of songs about rainbows and sunshine. And that was a nice thing to do together. And at night, he would sleep right up against my chest. And I love the sound of his breathing. On April 27th, we helped Rico cross, and it was so peaceful. He passed away on the part of the Beatles song, Here Comes the Sun, when George Harrison keeps repeating, it's all right, da 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 da. And it's towards the end, and I was so happy for him because he was no longer suffering. But I was so sad for me and Penny because we knew we'd miss our little gentleman. We knew how much we'd miss him. That little soul taught us so much about trust and love and life and acceptance and death. So much gratitude for Rico. And there's a saying, life is what you make of it. And through this journey, we discovered also that death, it applies to death too.